Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Hot Seat Interview. I'm your host, Leo Brady with AMovieGuy.com, and I am incredibly excited to be here today with an actor that everybody knows from movies like Kung Fu Panda, Pirates of the Caribbean, and of course, the John Wick franchise. I am here with legendary actor Ian McShane. How are you doing today?
Hi, Leo. How are you?
Great. Thank you for being with me here today. I like to start my interviews off with an icebreaker that can tend to either be very tough. Uh, it is the question of what's a movie or a cinematic moment for you that made you say, I want to be an actor?
There wasn't one
No?
because I was gonna. No, I went straight from drama school into being in a movie, and I went straight from being a soccer player. I broke my leg at school, and this teacher said you should be in the next school play. So I did. I was in the next school play, and then suddenly I was. I always felt comfortable at it, but I wouldn't say that I was. And then they said, you should go to drama school. So I went to drama school and traveled down to London with my mom when I was what? I think I was like seven. Yeah, I was 17
Yeah.
and to drama school, and they accepted me. And then I went down about two months later, and there I was, and I still didn't know much about it, except I was no, I didn't. I mean, I'm a provincial kid from the north of England, came to London. There I was, the 1960, and then thrust into it all. And I'd like to, and suddenly I got a movie. 18 months into drama school, and my best friend was John Hurt, who was leaving to do it. He was already leaving to do this movie, and he suggested they couldn't find the lead in it, an 18-year-old university student. He suggested me. So I took a Green Line bus on a bus. Can you imagine now? I
Yeah.
auditioning for a movie. I'm taking a bus. I took a bus out to Pinewood, did an audition, and then they said, yeah, next to they said, you've got the part. And then I had to go to drama school and back to the Royal Academy and say to John Farrell, sir, I lied. I did not go to the dentist. I went to do a film. Yes, and they've got me the part. And his reaction was very funny. He said, well, you realize if you do this, we might not give you your certificate. I said, well, you've got what, a sheet of paper that said I can act? Thank you very much. Anyway, they did, and I did the movie, and that was 61, 2 years ago now. So there we are, man. I mean,
Wow.
it's like, wow, here we
Yeah.
are still doing it.
Yeah.
And a movie like American Star, which I've been involved with at the very beginning because I made a film with Gonzalo in about 7 years ago called Hollow Point, which is a very good tight Western noir with me and Patrick Wilson, John Leguizamo, and he
Yeah.
didn't get a great role. It's a really good movie, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gonzalo then said he wanted to make another movie and came up with the idea of this hitman and but it was very sparsely sketched out then. And then Nacho came in and wrote it. And over the next 3 years, we sort of would talk about it while he did other projects and I did. Then we came up with this. I did a movie called Jawbone, which is a terrific English independent movie about boxing
Yeah.
with this producer called Mike Elliott. And Mike brought Mike in. And then the script developed from there. And then early 22, we found ourselves, people said this investor said we'd love to make it. And
Yeah.
there we are. We had a window of time. We went to the island, made it, and here we are 18 months later with the film that we wanted to make. And
Yeah.
luckily, people seem to like it. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, well, tell me about preparing for this role. I mean, like, I look at your filmography. Sometimes maybe the word character actor would come up. Do you reject that label? And I mean, because this movie proves that you are a pretty phenomenal leading man, and I think like your prep for this film had to have been sort of getting yourself into the zone. Am I wrong?
Yeah, not really. Get it? I mean, it's perceptions of you. I mean, it's like saying I've been doing films and series and producing them in England and here and back and forth. I've always gone back and forth from whatever I wanted to do. So stage to film to TV. I produced, I've directed, and suddenly, John Wick it could go to something else. And also, when you, in your advancing years in this business, you get chance to do something like this, which is kind of like special. The film was very special.
Yeah.
But it felt special to all of us. But it felt special when we got Fanny Ardant to take part in it.
Yeah.
And the result is a film we can all be proud of. And no, I've always been character actor. I mean, it's like that's because that's the British way of acting. I mean, there's never been any like I can only play the leading part. No, I mean, if it's a good part, it's great stuff, and they offer you a great deal. Whatever you
Yeah.
go with your instincts. Go with your instincts.
Yeah, well, and two, I wanted to sort of ask you about for this film. You work with this young actor. His name's played by Oscar Coleman. You have this relationship with this young kid in this movie. It is such a beautiful, gentle relationship, and yet your character is kind of under the surface a ruthless hitman. How did you sort of balance that, making a connection with Oscar to sort of make that work so beautifully when you know what could be coming in the at the end of this film?
I mean, it's a job is a job, no matter what your job is, whether it's cleaning toilets, killing people, or being a chef. It's what you do. I mean, but also the hitman aspect is only played up because of what you find out later on. I mean, it's very much is he a government operative? He
Yeah.
started as an ex-soldier, which is an ex-paraman. He stayed in the army. His best friend died in the Falklands. He's a damaged personality. He's a loner. But suddenly he finds himself in a situation whereby he's got a couple of days to spare, and he makes the fatal mistake that he thought he never would, which is become involved
Yeah.
with people or whatever. And the kid, like, you approach him over breakfast, and he reacts in a human way. And to the girl, and to the mother of the girl,
Yeah.
suddenly at the and then he finds that the kid comes up, the son of his best friend appears, who he's brought into
Right.
this organization is, and he knows he's kind of like he knows it's on a trajectory of not good things,
Yeah.
but he tries to make amends at the end, and he screwed up. But I just Gonzalo is a terrific filmmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's half the thing. He's a really gifted filmmaker, so it lifts it out of the genre, which you could put it into a little more something more interesting, and also the setting on this island in the middle of the Canary
Yeah.
Island gives it something else, and the island itself, Fuerteventura, which is violent wind. It sounds,
Yeah.
and it is very. When we got to be there for 5 weeks. We all arrived together. We had a few days rehearsal, camera tests, started filming, and then 5 weeks later we all left and went home. It was one of the nicest jobs I've ever been involved with, even on
Yeah.
such a concentrated level. But
Yeah.
that's great because you've got nobody looking over your shoulder. You're
Well,
making the film you want to make.
I was going to ask you that too. I mean, it's your second, as you said, it's your second time working with Gonzalo Lopez-Gallego. His, the part from movie one that you made with him to movie two, was this just like the two of you are just instantly in sync because now you're really comfortable with working with him? You know his style of direction and how he wants you to work, or is it
Yeah,
all?
no, I was comfortable there. I was comfortable with the first time because again, when we did this film originally, which was Hollow Point, we
Yeah.
waited for a while. We waited for it was maybe going to go away, and then again we managed to make it. But we made it back in 2016 in Utah with, as I said, Patrick Wilson, John Leguizamo, and
Yeah.
he's one of those people. He's one of those directors. I just felt instant rapport, at ease with him, and would do whatever. We had a easy way of working, and it continued. And also with the cameraman, who I must mention, Jose David Montero, who
Yeah.
does all Gonzalo's stuff. And he's again, you're all a team, and when it makes things much easier
Yeah.
when you're all of the same mind, and you just know what you want to do before you go on the set.
Yeah.
And things may happen during the thing, but they're usually lucky accidents rather than like, oh, I don't agree with you, because you haven't got that time. You haven't got the time for all that bullshit on the
Right.
movie. You're either a one mind or you're not. You let the director make the film he wants.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with this, which is funny.
Yeah, well, before I have to wrap up here, you mentioned it earlier. I do have to ask you. So you were roommates with John Hurt, who I am a huge fan of his work, huge fan of your work. Going back, what does it look like, the living space of two Shakespearean trained actors living together is that just sort of the greatest? Is that your sort of acting school to be able
It
to?
was well, there's a funny end to that because we both did a movie in 2013 together. The last time we worked together, when we did a movie which actually was very funny, Hercules, which
Yeah.
is when a film with which was very funny because we'd have long lunches together in Budapest talking about our lives and where we were, and so we're thinking, here we are making this crazy action movie. Here we are, 50 years later. Actually, yeah, 50 odd years later, still at it, still enjoying it, still having a good time. So I'll leave you with that. I'm still having a good time. And the professions, as you was it, life has been very, very good to me, and been very lucky and very fortunate. And if we work with something like Gonzalo this time of my career, even luckier. So yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy the movies. Thank you.
Awesome. Ian McShane, thank you so much for talking with me today. American Star will be in theaters and available on demand on January 26th. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Loved the film, and congratulations.
Thank you, Leo.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye bye.